I wanted to make an updated video talking about SMA. I haven't made a video talking about my SMA in quite some time. Anyhow, how I currently am feeling, I am feeling quite well. I'm not doing the greatest, however, I'm not doing the worst, and I am doing pretty good. And especially for those of you who keep up with my content, whether that is here on this YouTube channel or on my social media, Victortheinspiration, then you will know that I will occasionally talk about my SMA and kind of update you guys about how I'm feeling, how's my strength, things I am working on with my physical strength. Whether I'm picking up weights. How's my weights going. And I kind of like to document that process as well. I think it's good for my audience to know, and I think it is also good for down the future. I will be able to reflect back on and be like, wow, I remember those days. I remember that moment. I remember how I was feeling within that moment of time. And I wanted to make an excuse me. I wanted to make an updated video talking about my SMA because I have my Spinraza injection coming up, and usually, so for those of you who are new, is I take Spinraza injections for my disability. My disability is SMA type 2. To give a quick synopsis about SMA, is SMA in short is over time your muscles slowly start to deteriorate. So to put in perspective, is when I was at the age of 5 years old, I used to be able to push myself in a manual wheelchair. Fast forward to 20 years later, because I am currently 25, I am no longer able to push myself in a manual wheelchair, and I have to utilize a powerized wheelchair to kind of give you a perspective on SMA, or at least more so my personal journey. Anyhow, I wanted to make an updated video talking about my SMA because I have my Spinraza injection coming up. And for those of you who keep up with my content, you know that I receive these injections every 4 months. And it is around the 3rd month that I start to feel more fatigue. I start to feel weaker than usual. And once I get the injection, then it kind of reverses it, and I start to feel stronger. I start to feel more energy. I start to have more strength. And again, right now, around this time, like right now, how I am feeling is it is about 3.5 weeks in, it is about 3.5 weeks, 3.5 months, and I am almost at the 4th month mark where I am going to receive the injection. And again, it is around the 3rd month that I start to feel fatigue. I start to feel more weaker than my usual self, and I struggle quite a lot. Usually around this time, I struggle feeding myself, brushing my teeth, operating my phone, computer. My things that I do, my neck support becomes a really big challenge. Chewing becomes a very big challenge. A lot of my daily stuff usually becomes a very big challenge. Again, around more so the 3rd month. And for me, it is 3.5 months into me receiving my next injection, and I am feeling quite well. So what am I doing that I think is personally helping me? So I started to lift weights about a year ago, and at the beginning of when I started to lift weights, is I used to struggle picking up 1 pound, and fast forward to a year later, I was able to lift 3.5 pounds, but that's not consistent. I'm not able to do that all the time. I have only been able to lift 3.5 pounds twice since I attempted it, tried it since that time frame. And however, my normal is about 2.5 to 3 pounds I am able to pick up. So I started to pick up weights, and I started to learn trial and error, like, okay, what works for me, what doesn't? What can I do? What did I do yesterday that is making me feel the way that I am feeling today? Am I feeling a little bit stronger? Am I feeling much weaker? Because when you overwork yourself, what happens? You start to get tired. And when you feel tired, how else do you feel? You start to feel weak. You start to feel fatigue, right? So I have to take into account, okay, what am I doing that is helping me, and what am I doing that is not helping me? And I have to factor in all these different things, like what did I do yesterday? Okay, is it helping me? Is it not? What didn't I do yesterday that could potentially help me today? And what is it? Why can I do that thing? So for example, is in the process I didn't in the very beginning, you learn through trial and error. In the very beginning, you attempt something, like in anything in life in general, anything you attempt to do, you are going to learn, you have to learn through trial and error. Life is a trial and error process. If you don't do something, if you don't know, if you don't know something, understand that you figure it out along the way. What works, what doesn't. And if you do know something, why does it work and why does it not? Always look for ways to improve oneself. That is my, personal philosophy. Always look for ways to improve. Anyhow, how I have currently been feeling is, again, every 4 months I receive these injections. It is, again, this time I am currently, usually I am struggling around this time. However, for me currently, I am very fortunate because I'm doing quite well. So what I started to do is, me personally, I am always one to, I'm determined. I'm always determined. If I set out a goal, if I try to do something, I am going to figure it out. Like, I don't care what roadblocks lies in front of me. I don't care what seems a hindrance. I don't care about the Goliath in front of me. I don't care about what is in front of me. I will make it happen. That's like my mindset. And anyhow, so what I started to do is I went from 1 pound weights along the process, and then I was like, okay, push yourself. Try to do 1.5, and I couldn't do it. So what did I do? I looked it up. I did some research, and I figured out they have quarter. What did you do that? Like quarter weights. It was like 0.25 weights. It was less than a pound. So I started to pick up a pound and a quarter, and and I was able to do that. In the very beginning, it was very hard and challenging and difficult. And in the very beginning, I never even knew I could do that. I could do it. However, I pushed myself, and I had to have positive talk, like, you can do it, you can do it, you can do it. Try, don't give up. If I couldn't do it yesterday, I would attempt to do it again today, and I figured it out. I was able to do it. I was able to push myself to pick up that 1.5 pounds and a 1.25 pounds, excuse me. And then after I was able to do the 1.25 pounds for some time, then I was like, okay, let's try 1.5 pounds. Let's try to do that. And again, in the very beginning, it was hard. I struggled. It was very difficult. And in the very beginning, I wasn't sure if I was able to do it. However, I did. However, the only way those things can happen is if you push yourself beyond your current limits. Only you can decide whether or not, if you can do something or not. You have to decide that. And I forced myself, and I told myself I was determined enough to make it happen. Do it. And I was able to do the 1.5 pounds. Then I went to 1.75 pounds. Then I finally was able to do the 2 pounds. Fast forward the entire process is now I was able to do 3.5 pounds, but I struggled. I have only been able to do it twice so far. However, my goal right now is to get to 4 pounds. I'd love to get to 4 pounds. I think that would be a huge milestone for me, especially when I reflect back on when I struggled picking up the 1 pound. So what I learned along the way is, it's not so much that you pick up stronger weights. It's what can you pick up? What can you pick up today? Okay, and pick up for example, yesterday I was able to pick up 3 pounds. Yesterday I was able to pick up 3 pounds. Today I am not going to attempt to try to pick up 3 pounds, and I will explain why in a second. Yesterday I was able to pick up 3 pounds. Today I will only do about 2.5 pounds. I haven't quite made up my mind yet. Most likely it will be 2 pounds. And the reason being is because I didn't know, this is what I learned along the way, is muscle doesn't so much build by picking by picking up stronger weights. It doesn't build by so much just working out. Muscle builds through the process that you heal. You have to allow your muscles time to heal, and that is how muscle builds onto more muscle. I didn't know that in the very beginning. I learned that along the way. So the reason being, so one, I found what works for me and what doesn't. Like, for example, if I know that if I overwork myself yesterday, I know that today I potentially, excuse me, if I overworked myself yesterday, I know that today I may not be able to pick up those the same weight all the time, or I know that today I may feel more sluggish and more fatigued than how I felt yesterday. Why is that? Because I'm overexerting myself, I'm making myself tired. Therefore, when you're tired, what happens? You feel fatigue, right? And when you have SMA, it becomes a little bit longer for one to recover. And if you don't overexert yourself too much, if you have SMA, I want you to know, like, push yourself beyond your limits. Like, do it, okay? Like, if you do not push yourself beyond your limits, you will never see your potential, whether you have SMA or not. However, I want you to know that, again, this message is for those who have SMA, is you know yourself best. Like, I know we all have different types of SMA, and I know SMA affects us all differently, right? Because we all have our own set of challenges and obstacles, right? But I want you to push yourself beyond the limits. What can you do? Like, what can you really, really do? Don't look at something, or don't, for example, if you want to try to become stronger, and maybe you're where I was at. I struggled picking up a 1 pound weight. Can't try to pick up that 1 pound weight. Can you? If you can't, don't be discouraged. See if you can pick up 0.50, half a pound of a weight. Can you do it? Don't feel discouraged. Start by, if you have to go as little as 0.25, which is a quarter of a pound, then slowly slowly build your muscle up like that. Again, you know yourself best. Pay attention to you. Pay attention to how you feel. And this is what I learned. If you don't use it, you lose it. So when I reflect back on my life, like, obviously my disability is progressive. Obviously SMA is progressive. Okay. By me knowing my SMA is progressive, that can only do one of two things for my mindset, or I can only have two perspectives, in knowing my disability is progressive. I can either, one, look at my life like, your disability is progressive, you can't do much, you are extremely limited. Okay, that is one perspective. And then I can have the other perspective. Yes, you may be able to do so much, but push beyond those limits. How can push yourself beyond the limits and find more of your potential? And this is the one thing that I learned in life. And I recently posted this on my Instagram, Victortheinspiration. And I said, my life may take me slower than most, but I have learned that the slower one goes, the more one will have learned. That's what I learned about life. Again, you can look at life, whether you have SMA or not. You can look at life in two ways. You can look at one side and see the obstacles and challenges and hurdles in front of you or that are upon you. Or you can look at, or you can have, and you don't do nothing about it, right? This is my life, poor me kind of mentality. We can have the second perspective. I have challenges, obstacles, and hurdles in front of me. But those challenges, obstacles, and hurdles can either break me or create me. And I like perspective number two. push beyond those limits. Don't look at those challenges as challenges. Look at them as parts of your journey that is going to lead you to you reaching your full potential. Don't look at your obstacles as obstacles. Look at your obstacles as ways for you to discover certain parts of your life through the adversity you overcome. Don't look at the hurdles as hurdles in your life. Look at the hurdles in your life to tell you to slow it down. Look at this. Look at this picture. Look at this picture in this perspective. What's an alternative way to look at what it is you are approaching or what it is you are going through? You have to push beyond your limits. So I wanted to make this video. I know this is about an update. I know this is an updated video talking about my SMA. That is something I wanted to personally share with you guys and give you guys more insight of like my personal perspective within my life, you know, whether it's with my SMA or I wanted to give you a perspective on like my personal perspective on my SMA, you know, with my life. And I also wanted to give you an idea to my mindset as to how I overcome so many things, you know. And if you're going through something, like, I mean, if you have SMA or not, everybody, at the end of the day, everybody is going through something, right? So the thing that we only could do is to just try to hold on to one more day. That's all it takes. If you are new to my channel, please click the subscribe button. Please drop a like, comment down below any form of value this video has personally gave you. Where if you have questions, please drop them down below. I would love to reply to your comment and give you an answer if I could in the best of my ability. Or maybe even if you have a video idea I could talk about, I would love to even share that with you as well. If you are new to my channel, check out the links within the description. I have links to my personal website, Victortheinspiration.com. I have documented a lot of my life journey within my website. Excuse me. And I also have ebooks that I have created and personally designed to help you along your own personal journey as well. I want you to all to know that I'm going to end it here. The most important message, one of my favorite messages of personal life philosophies is this: grow through what you go through. Let me know what that means to you as well. I love you. I appreciate you. Please share with a friend. And again, remember, grow through what you go through. Much love.